Ultimately, it will drive people away from the church, from Christianity, from pursuing the faith. That's how serious this is.
You know, I'm sure that somebody that has not bought into the teachings of Jesus Christ, scratch their head a little bit. If something this important about Jesus returning, Christians can't even explain how that's going to happen.
After all, if the validity of biblical prophecy can be confirmed by historical discoveries, then why can't most Christians get on the same page when it comes to the return of their Messiah? Maybe this is because we're asking the wrong question.
There is so much infighting about when Jesus is coming back. Nobody stopped and asked why.
But the fact is, the timing is not nearly as important as the why of his return. People forget to even ask, why is Jesus coming back? Why is all this going to happen? Why must there be an end of the world?
And I think we're focusing on the wrong thing. The issue is, why does the rapture have to happen? What's the point to it all?
So, what is the point? Are the events of the end times simply a sequence of ancient superstitions, or do those that were with Christ understand something much greater that was buried by the sands of time? Before our story can begin, we need to first understand that Jesus wasn't simply a Jew. More specifically, he was a Galilean. Not only that, but Jesus' disciples were all Galileans as well.
They were not only Galileans, they were Galileans from just about every walk of life. You've got a guy who's a fisherman, you've got a guy who's a tax collector, and yet Jesus assembled these Galileans together. And I think there's a great reason why the Galileans being present, his disciples, future apostles, would be spoken to by Christ in the Galilean vernacular.
You see, even though the regions throughout ancient Israel shared the same culture, the Galileans developed customs that were unique only to them. Why is this important? Because Jesus used people's cultures to more deeply communicate the spiritual nature of God.
He used words and symbols and analogies and parables for them to understand.
You see it on the Sermon on the Mount, speaking to them in ways that they can understand. Speaking to them about being fishers of men, for example. Why would you use that analogy unless you knew that these are fishermen? Everything he said, it was based on life that he lived, culture that he belonged to.
I think it's hard for us to understand in our day what it was like for them in their day. When Jesus spoke, it was from the heart to their heart. There was a profound connection made.
The first century believers had such a clear understanding of what Jesus was saying. He gave them clear revelation.
So, it's no wonder that one day his disciples came to him to ask about the fulfillment of God's plan for the future. And Jesus answered them in shocking detail.
And he uses illustrations that they can understand that tells them the world is going to come to an end someday. And here's how it's going to happen.
So, to fully understand the depths of what Jesus could have revealed to the Galileans regarding how and why he would return in the last days, we must understand the unique culture to whom he was speaking. We need to see the Messiah through their eyes. This sparked an ambitious research project, and fragments of new insight began to expose the forgotten ways of the ancient Galileans.
You know that 2/3 of the gospel took place in a little strip of land by the Sea of Galilee. 2/3 of the gospel. It actually makes no sense. You really think about it. Most of the Jews didn't live there, but yet 2/3 of the gospel took place right there. So you cannot ignore
The Levant is the large area in Southwest Asia, south of the Taurus Mountains, bounded by the Mediterranean Sea in the west, the Arabian Desert in the south, and Mesopotamia in the east. It stretches 400 miles north to south from the Taurus Mountains to the Sinai Desert, and 70 to 100 miles east to west between the sea and the Arabian Desert. The term is also sometimes used to refer to modern events or states in the region immediately bordering the eastern Mediterranean Sea: Cyprus, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, and Hatay province of Turkey.